Alright, well, kia ora team. Welcome to your first RDC Level 2 online lesson. Well, not really a lesson, it's more me explaining what my expectations are for this first week. Hope you're all doing well. I'm using a software called Screen-O-Matic, which allows me to record what's on my screen and speak over the top of it. Before we begin, it's a good idea for you to have your green book in front of you, which is for your first assessment, and that is standard number 10781, and that's looking at producing a plan for own future direction. So this is your first assessment. We've spent the last 8 weeks of term looking at you and your resiliency level and examining you as a person, and looking at areas to try and improve who you are. And I've really enjoyed doing that. And we actually weren't going to do this assessment until next term. However, because of the circumstances, things have sped up very quickly. So here we are doing our first level 2 assessment, and I know that many of you are in need or a little bit desperate to get some credits. Perhaps that's because you want to leave school pretty soon. You know you only need level 2, and this is one of those assessments that these credits are really important and really helpful. And even if you're planning on hanging around till year 13, which I strongly advise, this is one of those assessments that will be really good for you for next year as we go into RDC level 3. Okay, quickly looking at the learning purpose and outcomes of this. This course you'll learn how to produce a plan for your own future direction, what you want to do in the future. And for a lot of you, you're already thinking about this. You've been thinking about what you want to do when you leave for probably quite a long time. And I left at level 2 when I was year 12, and I left halfway through the year. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be I thought I wanted to be someone who modified cars and had some sort of mechanics that kind of covered all bases in terms of working on cars. I left school in the end and became a house painter, and went in a very different direction, and probably one that, though it was good for me in some ways, also took me down a bit of a dark path. It's really important that you know and have an idea what you want to do when you leave school. Have a goal, have a target. It makes school that much more worthwhile because you realize the value in what you're doing, because it actually all adds up to something that you plan to do. And for a lot of you listening to this now, your plan, you know what you want to do, and that is join the Defence Force, whether that's Air Force, Army or Navy. And that's awesome. And that will, if you do know, this assessment will be that much easier for you. When you've successfully finished this, you'll be able to gather information for your personal profile, which we're going to get stuck into today. You investigate and identify options for your future directions and produce a plan for achieving your future directions. So you actually have to produce a plan that shows how you are actually going to go about moving in the sort of direction you want to go in. If you're sitting here right now thinking, I've got no idea what I want to do, well, you've got a little bit of time to start thinking about it, and hopefully we can actually use this guide in this book to get you thinking and get some ideas flowing as you go forward. I've also got a glossary at the end. If you don't know what a glossary is, it's basically like an index of definitions, and helps you understand new terms and words that might be used in this, which you may not have heard before. So always make sure you check the glossary at the back when you have when you're unsure about words that are being used. Let's move on. Other things to use, and I strongly advise looking at careers.govt.nz. That's a really good way of, they've got little quizzes you can do and things like that, which help you give you a little better idea about what you can do, what you want to do in the future. And this is our contents today. So I'm not sure how far we're going to get through this while in lockdown. We have quite a long time to work through this. But while on lockdown, I'd like to at least get through this personal profile. So today we're going to start working on this, and I'll show you basically the start and where I'd like you to finish by today. And we'll move through this over the next couple of weeks. It is really a trial and error sort of experiment here as to how much we can get done in the amount of time we have. We've given you an hour, and I've already started speaking for 5 minutes, so I don't want to speak for too much longer. We'll try and give you 45 minutes. I'm only actually allowed 15 minutes until this recorder actually stops, because I've got a free membership on this website. Let's go down here. We're looking at creating your own personal profile, learning objectives. You should be able to create your own personal profile for your future directions, what you want to do in the future. You'll learn different types of information about yourself, which you can use to create your personal profile. And we've actually started doing that, guys, when we've been doing this resiliency stuff. You guys should have a sense of somewhat who you are, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. You've started to start that process and get that ball rolling, which has been really good. I've been really impressed with a lot of you going through that. The things we're going to look at here are your personal qualities and interests, skills, work interests, work experience, education and training, so what you've got so far, and achievements. And you also practice gathering information. I just want to quickly touch on this because sometimes people struggle here. They actually I don't know. I want you to really just think large here about qualities and interests. Honestly, if it was me when I was 16, if my interest was watching Discovery Channel, or I had strange interests, like if it was building model airplanes or bird watching, honestly, there's so many things you don't even think about. Some of you like cooking and baking. These are all part of building this profile. You want as much as you can get. It doesn't mean you're going to actually use it, but it helps to paint a really deep and colourful picture of who you are, and it gives us a lot more to work with. So don't hold back, is what I'm saying. Personal profile. So do you get stressed out about the future because you do not know what you want to do in your life? The aim of this guide is to help you explore what you'd like to do and start making plans towards achieving this. To set a positive future direction, it's important that you learn about who you are as a person, your likes and dislikes, your strengths, your challenges. With the knowledge, you can create a meaningful plan that is achievable and realistic. And I like that. This part here is really important. We do have to get a bit of a reality check. You guys are 16, 17-year-olds, and right now, owning your own company and being a multi-millionaire, is that achievable and realistic? Possibly, but not in the immediate future. You've got to build a plan to get to anything like that. And also for those of you who are joining the army, you got your heart set on some things, and some of you actually I want to join the army, but I don't know what I want to do. Either way, this is going to help you get a better and more defined idea. So we do this by creating a personal profile. Now you can see here future direction. What do you want to do in the future? This can include any productive work, such as paid work, unpaid work, education and training, personal or cultural pursuits and interests. Now, just to give, as you guys know, I try to make it kind of personal and talk from my point of view, just to give a little bit of context. For me, a couple of years ago, I saw Vanguard on my radar and had no idea how I was going to be a part of Vanguard. And so I set a bit of a plan. I created a bit of a profile and started to create some stepping stones to get there. And so that is paid work. But now I'm also starting to dream for my future again. Even though I'm at Vanguard, I still like to think ahead. And I'm looking at further education and doing my master's degree. And it's unpaid. That's productive work, but it's not actually paid work. It's education and training. So these are the sorts of things we've got to think about in our future. It's not just all about, I'm going to become a builder and get paid. I'm going to do an apprenticeship. That will be some of you. For example, Dom Mankolo in our class. That's something he really wants to do, and I think that's really awesome. and he's got his heart set on that, and he knows what he needs to do to get there. But for some of you, you don't have to have work. You work 75% of your life, so you don't have to work all the time. There's lots of other things we can do. An overall idea of who you are as a person, this can be based on many different types of information. So looking down here, types of information that help build our personal profile. I'm not going to read through that, but you can see there's lots of things that shape your personal profile. This is when I've done this in the past. Students struggle with qualities. They really don't know how to, whether they're modest and don't want to say good things about themselves, or they just don't know. It's always a struggle. But you need to start looking at that and thinking about what makes you, what it really is, the qualities about you. And these are really good examples. I think these are quite obvious ones that we can relate to. So today's task is starting here, looking at your personal qualities. First, you'll think about your personal qualities, and then you'll ask people close to you about your qualities. So let's think about people who you're living with now. You may have some friends you want to get in touch with. You choose, but people who can be honest and just say what they think, because this is a hard task to do, to think about. So yeah, that's what I want you to do. As soon as we've finished this, I want you to start filling this out. So look here, you'll see person 1, person 2, person 3. So we've got 3 people we want to approach and ask them what they think your personal qualities are. So I want you to write those down in the space provided here. And to finish, my personal qualities. What are your personal qualities? I want you to think about that today, and I want you to write in a sentence or two what your personal qualities are. A sentence starter, it could simply be, my personal qualities are. It couldn't get much more simple than that, could it? And we're going to stop there for today, and we're not going to get too carried away, because you've got to go out and talk to these people. They might be sitting in the same room as you now. They might be online. They might be somewhere in your house. So that's your task today. I want you to get this done. Also, you'll see on the Facebook page that we have a roll call. Simply where I've written roll call, make a comment that you're present. Do that straight away after you've watched this video. You may have already done it, and then let's get on with it. I'll be back online tomorrow, and you won't get these videos, you won't get these every day. I may say for the next couple of days do this, but what I will be is online at the time. So if you've got questions about the work at hand that you're doing, feel free to send me a message through Messenger if you're unsure. So today's task is looking at your personal qualities. I want you to really think hard about this, because you don't want to be caught short if suddenly we're back at school and I say, right, show us what you've done. You'll look a bit silly. So I hope you're all doing well. Let's try and get used to this different format. I know it's a bit strange for me, but thankfully, coming from a school that used to do this, you quickly get used to it. So right, I'm up 13 minutes 30. I want to stop. I'm sick of the sound of my own voice. Take care, and we'll see you all online pretty soon.